Let's read together Luke chapter 14 verses 25 throughout 27 and then verse 33. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Verse 33, So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. Well, can any of us truly say, have we left all behind just for him? Have we left behind our loved ones, all of our possessions? Have we sold our houses and businesses, cars? Have we given up our wives and children? Do we? Did we? Because religion is teaching us that these passages is about salvation, and it could cost us everything to obtain it. But the Bible teaches that salvation is free, so how can it be free and at the same time costing us everything? Have you ever thought about this? So was Jesus talking about salvation? Note this, because he repeats it 3 times. He says in the end of each verse, he says, he cannot be my disciple. Jesus is talking about discipleship, about service. And religions tend to mix up the two, salvation and discipleship. And besides, we know that discipleship is not a guarantee of salvation. Look at Judas, for example. But these passages go hand in hand with Matthew chapter 10, verses 41 and 42, where Jesus says, He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Jesus again repeated the word 3 times. Reward. So what we do, our service, our discipleship is relating to our works. That relates to rewards. But back to Luke chapter 14, do you notice who was the audience of Jesus? In verse 25 he says, And there went the great multitudes with him. So Jesus' audience was the great multitudes. And this is why he said to them, kind of warning them, if they want to be his disciple, they possibly would have to go through all these things. So he kind of straight away, he filters out all of those people who are half-hearted, because he didn't want half-hearted people, because he was building his first century church. So he wanted people whose heart is absolutely fully in it. And for them to do this, they would possibly have to give up absolutely everything. All of their loved ones, all of their possessions, even their own lives. Even remember Paul was saying that at one point he was even naked. He didn't even have a piece of clothing on his back. But do you see, after he's finished talking about all of these things, what does Luke chapter 15 starts with? Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receives sinners and eateth with them. So Jesus sorts out the great multitudes by filtering out the half-hearted ones. But then the narrative says, then all these people drew near him, the publicans, the sinners, the harlots, the lowlife, the social outcasts. These were the kind of people Jesus loved hanging out with, because these people are the ones who drew near him. These are the kind of people who had a heart for him and for what he was telling them and what he was promising them. And guess what? To them, he explained the parable of the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the prodigal son. These verses and these parables, now these are about salvation. And Jesus was explaining this to these sinful, low-life, social outcast lot. So these little things, they just basically came to me yesterday. But I thought I'd come out here this morning and share with you guys all this with this beautiful background behind me. Even though it's here in the mountains, it's 7 degrees today. Yesterday it was 6 degrees. It was even a little bit colder. But I don't know how much is that in Fahrenheit, but you can check it out. 6-7 degrees is pretty nippy in the morning. But these last verses in the chapter 14 of the book of Luke, it's Jesus is talking about discipleship. He's not talking about salvation. So we do not need to abandon everything that we have and give up everyone that we have to gain salvation. Because salvation is a gift of God. It's free. By definition, it's a free gift. Something that we cannot work for, cannot earn, cannot merit. But our discipleship, now that can cost us everything, if we choose to do so. And for most people back in the 1st century and even after that, in fact, it did cost them everything. But the trials and tribulations of this world cannot compare with what God has promised us, as Scripture says. So I hope this little monologue of mine has encouraged you. And well, check it out. It's a wonderful, wonderful verse. And also one of my absolute favorite passages in the entire Bible is Luke chapter 15. But the 99 sheep, the lost coins, and the prodigal son. These are just beautiful introductions and parables of Jesus. What the Father is like, what God is like, and what He wants from us. He wants our heart. He wants our entire being. And He's never going to leave us and never going to forsake us. But He's going to go behind me all the way up and all the way up there on the top of the mountains to look for that one sheep who went astray or got lost. This is our Father. This is our God. This is our shepherd. And even just because we don't feel like at times that we are worthy to be His son or daughter, just like we cannot simply walk up to our father, our biological father, and say to him, listen, I'm not your father, I'm not your daughter, or I'm not your son anymore. You can't. You're biologically linked. In the same way, once you become a daughter or a son to God through faith and the new birth, you can never deny your sonship. You'll never deny that you are His child, and He's never going to deny you either. Hope this encouraged you. Have a wonderful and blessed day. I love you all. God bless you all, and we speak in the next video. Bye.